Just before this video starts, I do want to mention that I have a Discord server. Join if you want to, suggest new video ideas, or come hang out with us. And if you like what you see here today, you'll like pretty much everything else on my channel, so why not subscribe? Thanks. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we are going to be talking about a situation that has been blowing over for the past couple of days, that being the Star Wars theory drama. So if you haven't heard, there's a show called Andor, and it's set in the Star Wars universe. Season 2 came out a little bit ago, and in one of the episodes there's a grape scene done by an officer of the Empire who thinks that the character he's trying to assault is someone who is just an undocumented person who he can take advantage of. I think you can already see from my description of things that this scene is somewhat meant to depict real world events that have either happened or happen currently. Now, Star Wars Theory, he recently reacted to the episode, and this is what he had to say about it.
Young Jedi adventures, whatever it is. I also think it's okay to do a Star Wars show targeted towards a more mature audience. I do think that there's maybe a line where in terms of, look, if Bix had her tits out, first of all, I would love to see that. But if Bix had her tits out and she's being brutally fucking raped, like I said, if this was like a Game of Thrones level type of scene, I could understand why there's some like backlash and outrage. But to me, it wasn't even, it was kind of like a big nothing burger. Yeah. Because we saw an Imperial officer attempting to force himself on someone. And he got killed for it. Yeah. Like, I don't know. So you were like shocked when you saw that?
You know, I was just like, why? The dude is some creepy ass rapist trying to take her from behind and do all this. Like, I don't know. I just didn't think that really. When I think of Star Wars, I think of like the first 6 films, and I'm like, this is just kind of out of place. I feel like if there's other ways that you want to portray this guy as some evil doer, then yeah, you could do that. But I think taking it to that level is, I don't think it really belongs in film Star Wars, at least not yet. I mean, sure enough, in Legends and in the comics, yeah, okay, but I just don't think that that's something that I think what got a lot of people angry with my tweet was that I said Vader wouldn't stand for this, and these fucking idiots are like, well, Vader kills kids, he would totally. It's like there's levels to evil. Like, just because he kills people and kids doesn't mean that he's going to full on assault a woman in a sexual way. It's just very strange.
I mean, he did choke Padme while she was pregnant with his children.
He did, but he didn't force himself on her.
Right, choking good, raping no. That's where Darth Vader draws.
That's where we draw the line.
I think that I don't know if I think that Vader would want his troops acting if he felt like it was interfering with their like on the job and that they were not doing what they were supposed to do. If it was making them more like less efficient, I think he'd have a massive problem with it. I guess my other thing is, just because Darth Vader does exist and is in the power command structure of the Empire, do you think that every stormtrooper and every Imperial officer is on perfect behavior because of the threat that Vader might potentially hear about something in the future? Because that's not the way I perceive it at all.
No.
Now, I agree with him on one point, and that's that there are levels to evil, right? Like, obviously, there's a big difference between pushing some old lady down a flight of stairs because you think it's funny, which might result in her death, and grape. Both are evil, yes, but there are levels to it. Now, where I disagree is that even though I feel like Star Wars Theory could have definitely worded this way better, or probably just not have said it at all, I don't think that Darth Vader would care about somebody, a rebel nonetheless, being raped by one of the Empire's officers, right? That's like stuff that I don't even think he would really concern himself with. And now, even though you've just seen his response in voice, this is what he said on Twitter, which pretty much sparked an entire debate around this whole episode. Essay in Star Wars feels unnecessary. You can portray power dynamics and making the audience hate the Empire in other ways without taking it to such a disgusting place. Vader would never tolerate this stuff, nor does the Empire condone it. It has no place in Star Wars, period. Unnecessary. Maybe Anakin wouldn't tolerate it. But isn't Darth Vader like the top enforcer for Palpatine, leader of the Empire? The guys that commit genocide regularly and like blow up planets with their Death Stars? They're also a regime. They subjugate others who are weaker than them. Bro, I love your content, but the Empire wouldn't tolerate it. Come on. You honestly think if Vader saw that, he wouldn't kill the guy and leave? Heck, he might even kill the girl too, but there's no way he'd let that imp live. If he saw imps killing younglings or anyone, he wouldn't really give a fuck. I don't even know what Vader has to do with this whole situation. Like, he wasn't even in the show, right? I don't think he even makes an appearance, or at the very least, he's not in this scene. So, like, what's really the point here? People need to understand this about Vader. He wasn't pure evil like Palpatine. He turned to the dark side and promise of unforgivable acts, unlocking his true power through pain and rage. He needed this power to save his wife. This is the lie that Palpatine sold him. He didn't enjoy killing younglings. He didn't enjoy the things that he did. He used the pain, rage in his heart to move his sword. The pain that the Jedi caused him from neglect, not allowing him to save his mother, or from holding him back. They went from glazing him to restricting him. Anakin even cried for it. He cried because of the boy he once was, and how far away from that he had become, with him standing on Mustafar. This is all documented in the book and lore. Vader hated the world because he hated his situation. He hated the Jedi, he hated Palpatine, and most of all, he hated himself for losing Padme. George wrote Vader as a sad, tragic character. His actions were a direct cause of his impatience and lust for power and control. And that's all well and good. That's amazing. I don't know who asked for it. Amazing exposition, right? But what does that have to do with Bix's grape scene in the show? It's so funny though, because every time somebody points this out to him, it just kind of like goes over his head, and he just goes back to saying, oh, but Vader this and Vader that.
He's still Anakin at the end of the day, and Anakin wouldn't stand for that shit.
No, but it's just not relevant. Like, why would Vader's opinion matter here?
I just don't think that that's something that the Empire would be cool with if they actually saw it. I don't think it
I think the Empire wouldn't give a shit about the people that they're subjugating and murdering in mass levels and enslaving. I don't think they would
maybe
care.
the Empire as a whole,
think,
but I don't think Palpatine and
Now, I guess a more valid argument to be had is that because this is the first, I guess, grape scene or scene like this in Star Wars that was ever seen on screen, obviously it would have shocked viewers, and it ended up doing so much to the point where we're having this discussion about it, right? And anytime like stuff like this would come up in Star Wars, like with the Princess Leia stuff, it was always implied. Now, I know that Legends and Star Wars in the comics, they can get a little bit more graphic, and that's fine. Not everybody's into the comics, not everybody's into Star Wars Legends, right? It's mainly just the movies and stuff that you see on TV. Star Wars is largely marketed towards kids. And so obviously I could understand when a new Star Wars show comes out, right? People might want to watch it with their kids, and then this stuff comes up. I could definitely see them having an issue with that. However, a lot of people have been saying that Andor is a bit different in the way that it's marketed towards adults instead of kids. In my personal opinion, maybe it might have been a little bit too much. And even if you were to make the argument that, oh, Anakin kills kids, or a lot of people die in Star Wars, but that's never really given it more than a PG-13 rating. So audiences and kids were never really exposed to things like the subject of grape in the Star Wars universe. Hell, I've even been thinking about both sides of this argument, and you could probably even make the argument that most media nowadays anyways, or for at least the past decade, has shown stuff that's way worse. So, people should already be desensitized to stuff like this, at least in a TV show format, not in real life. So it really shouldn't be that big of a deal to a lot of people. But yeah, guys, there's a lot of arguments to be had with stuff like this. I'd never really thought that something like this would come up. Like, obviously the Empire is evil. They've done a lot of evil stuff that's pretty, apparent. And I wouldn't put it past them that they would look over or glance over the grape of some lowly rebel scum. And at the same time, I'm sure that there are some officers or ranking officials in the Empire that wouldn't condone such a thing. But Vader, I don't think he would care that much. This is the same guy that tortures people by choking them damn near to death. The same guy that will kill kids if he needs to. And just like it was implied that when Anakin first killed the younglings, this was how far he had gone into the dark side. I mean, how much further you think he's gonna go after finding out that he killed Padme, and after he remembers that he lost to Obi-Wan in his duel, which led to the sorry state that his body was in, after knowing that Palpatine, his master, is purposefully making his life more miserable by not fixing up his skin or giving up a new suit that doesn't beep randomly when he's trying to sleep or doesn't make basic movement a chore. Like, I'm pretty sure anyone really wouldn't care about anything else at that point. Like, I'm pretty sure the only thing that was keeping Vader somewhat sane was his memory of Padme. Anyways, from what I hear, it wasn't too bad of a scene. I guess kind of like what RK Outpost said in the first clip. It would be different if it was like a brutal grape scene. And I guess it also would be different if the guy got away with it after with his life, but he didn't. So yeah, ultimately, I don't think, and this is just me personally, they should stop trying to imply stuff like this is happening. However, if they decide to show it and they keep it like not insanely graphic, then I don't really see a problem with it. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.